Okay, welcome to another episode of the Contrarian Hour. And I don't usually like to do this. It's a bit self-indulgent. Maybe about every 10 or 15 episodes, if I see one that makes me laugh, I'll bring it up. But our last episode had a comment I wanted to point out. I know.
I think I know which one. I think I know which one.
Yeah, you must. You must know. So keep in mind, the last time I did this was when we got a bunch of people from a Taylor Swift horde in our comments section. Some people were on our side, some people were not, and we didn't even think we weren't even that hard on Taylor Swift. I think actually I was more like pro, even though now she's kind of worn out her welcome for me. But that's
No, the
okay.
video was bizarre. We had all these hate comments for Taylor Swift, and it's like, did you watch the video? We were pro Taylor Swift the entire time. Like, what are you guys talking about?
It was me expressing frustration with people who didn't like seeing her for 5 seconds during football games as compared to seeing 5 seconds of Travis Kelce's fat, ugly mom. Like, wasn't
By
that
the way,
bad?
I
It
was
a
vindicated. I was vindicated on that, by the way. Taylor's taken a fat L since then. So, you know what? I was right in not wanting to see her. She's not hot. She's spiritually ugly. I don't want to see that.
I did read on Twitter where someone said that she gave off asexuality, which is true. She doesn't really, usually music's supposed to be a cultural enabler for rebellion and sex, and that's kind of why it's music. And with Taylor, it's more corporatized, right? So it's very safe, and that's, I get it. She's singing for a lot of kids too, but don't tell me she's a revolutionary in that aspect, because she's not. So, but no, the comment that I saw in the last episode that made me laugh was by Dookie Pringles 9674, and he said, "I was watching until you said rest in piss to the Super Size Me guy. He was a good dude." Bye. So to me, right, and I'll bring up the follow-ups too. He's got two bad things going for him, and there's two reasons why I don't like. One, he disparages McDonald's. I am a McDonald's acolyte. I will defend McDonald's before I defend my own country. So don't speak poorly about McDonald's in my presence. His second offense is I hate comedians. I hate stand-up comedians. I hate the concept of comedy. I hate funny guys, where that's their entire impetus is being funny. Okay, I can't. I'm just not a fan of that. So if you combine those two
Was
things,
he funny during the documentary?
I have no idea. I'd never seen it. I wouldn't want to watch that garbage. That
he does kind of give off like stand-up comedy, like energy.
Well, yeah, it's just
I can see him going to a fucking open mic and being like, "Yeah, this is my open mic night. Come on in, guys."
I couldn't even see him being that formal about it. I'd see him being drunk, with his mustache, and be like, "Yeah, telling jokes like, yeah, well, that's why the wife never gives it up," or something, like really boring stuff, and that's what we have to listen to.
What if his stand-up is like also like weirdly anti-McDonald's? Like themed. It's like what's the deal with McDonald's food?
Yeah, so all the people that know him from the documentary are like, does he talk about anything else? So, for those of you who may have not heard it, I made a joke that I was glad. Well, it wasn't a joke. I said that I was glad he was dead on the last episode, which I have to hold firm to that one at this point. So, someone came in. My white knight lion's share. He said, no, he wasn't. He admitted the alcoholism allegations, and he cheated on his wife several times. I did not know that. That's a little fact about the Super Size Me guy I wasn't aware of. So I'll have to do my homework. You're telling me this now for the first time. So I'll have to take a second look at that. And then Dookie Pringles comes back, and he says, and you're perfect and never made a mistake? As a Christian, you don't tell people to rest in piss. That's deplorable behavior, and I won't watch this crap. Plenty of nicer people out there to watch for political knowledge. So.
I was on team McDonald's, but after hearing what kind of person this guy is, I'm kind of his team now. Like I like the mental image of like some drunk fucking retard just making a documentary. Like, dude, what if we just made documentary slandering McDonald's, just drunk out of his mind? You know, I like
You
the
like
idea.
that? There are much worse corporations to slander than McDonald's. Well, for instance, I should be a super size me guy, except Amazon. And I should travel the country and show how they've destroyed small business and also warped the consumers' brains about what they think quality is and what they deserve as consumers. I should do a super size me version of that, except I'll be on cocaine the whole time. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get face bloat again.
Actually, what's that condition that people have when they they lose control of their bowels because they get older or something?
Oh, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. So
it's like they have like a leaky butthole or something. It's like, you know, that
that's being gay.
No, you know, like that Will Smith documentary where like he like finds out that people in the NFL, because they were in the NFL, they have like CTE, brain concussion. It's like, because it's like you do the same thing for Amazon, where you discover like all these people working for Amazon, because they were denied toilet breaks. All like there's a rise in leaky buttholes in America. Like you finally connect the dots. Like, hold up, you're telling me there's a 55,000% increase in leaky buttholes in America? Tell me diaper sales for adults are up like 15x, dude.
Yeah, well, maybe I should draw comparisons between what goes on at people trying to kill themselves at Foxconn factories making Apple chips, and that similar mental anguish being shown in an Amazon warehouse. You know, if you work at those places for around 2 to 3 months, you get a $5,000 bonus, which is bigger than some bonuses being an accountant at a corporation. So they don't expect you to make it 3 months a lot of the time. So you're in and out of there like a mill. And if you want to be a manager at a place like that, God knows you probably have to give away like the very essence of your soul and being and just stand there. Like you have to be a robot yourself maybe to get it to that point. So that's stuff. I just like this one though. It's like he talks about, so we're talking about an alcoholic who drank himself to death and cheated on his wife. And I love the response though. And you're perfect and never made a mistake. So it's an appeal to forgiveness here from Dookie Prignell. So as a Christian, you don't tell people to rest at piss. Okay, there's some religious connotations there, and that's I think he's older, because when someone says, "Who do you know around your age or younger that goes, that's deplorable behavior, and I won't watch this crap." Crap is a boomer tell signal. That is a boomer. That means you're talking to someone who's above 45 years old. And then plenty of nicer people out there watch for you know what's funny is that this is probably a Trump supporter who likes that he's brash and, you know, just like in your face. But when it comes to talking about the McDonald's guy, it's like, I need someone nice. I need someone to watch for nice political commentary.
I can imagine him going like, well, you know what? Rush Limbaugh doesn't say stuff like this. You know, just like, you know.
Rush did it with class, okay? He didn't tell people to rest themselves. All he did was tell black people to pick the bone out of their nose, and that Sandra
in his mind is like,
slut.
You know what? If Sean Hannity can get up there every night and tell the truth and be professional, you guys can do that as well.
Yeah, then that's what I expect from the Contrarian Hour, okay? Listen, I'm a Christian, but I'm born with natural sin, and if it makes me imperfect to be happy that the McDonald's guy is dead, then forgive me, okay? I'm sorry, but I am only human, and I hate him with every fiber of my being. So I wanted to make that clear. But Dookie Priggles, I thank you for the laugh. And real quick, Tyson, just because I thought it was funny, and we are talking about politics tangentially for 1 second. Have you seen a lot of these Kamala Harris clips going around? And I don't want to talk about the prospect of her potentially being president. I don't find that interesting. I don't even think she'll end up running as president. She'll just stay as VP. Biden's an embittered old man who's going to stay at his post and just lose this election, which is fine, because then the media can be the resistance party for 4 years, which is what they kind of want anyways. But
also, they kind of want that, because if Biden stays in the race and he loses, they have their perfect scapegoat. There it is. They can just say, "Oh, it's because he stayed in," you know. So they have the perfect someone to blame.
Yeah, and then they'll be able to shame their party for those 4 years and say, look at the mistake all of you made. Don't make it again. They could do something like that. But you shouldn't be that harsh. There's plenty of nicer people to watch out there, Tyson. So just cool it off, okay? Tone it down, right? But have you seen clips of her online? Because there was about 2 days on Twitter over the weekend where there'd be clips of Kamala Harris looking like she should be hosting The View. And I think they're great because to me, I think Kamala Harris is a product of 90s daytime television. She was dating Montel Williams for a while.
Really?
Who was just like, she was literally his side piece. As in, he would come in with 2 pieces of arm candy, and she was one of them. Okay, just standing there with him on, I don't even know if it's not red carpets, but just like paparazzi walk-bys and things like that. So I think she has a presence for entertainment. And I'm going to say it right now. I don't think she's ugly. Okay. She kind of has that going for her too. She would probably be, I've been saying if she wants to get ahead in the race and she wants to get put in for president, start showing a little bit of cleavage. People would go for that. I think people would love that. They'd be like, hold on a second here.
I think the ship, I see the vision, but I think the ship has sailed. I think she's just on the edge, too old for that stuff anymore. She's going to be 60. It's a bit too old. If you turn the clock back 5 years, absolutely. But I don't know at this point.
No, she's not even 60 yet. You can show cleavage before 60. Absolutely. Nancy Pelosi lets those things breathe sometimes, and no one wants to see that. But at the same time, no one's complaining when she does. No, 59. She looks great for 59. She can start showing those things off. I'd be all right with that. But did you see that clip of her where she's pretending to be a Jewish woman from northern New Jersey? Well, I mean, it's kind of a redundant statement, but she's pretending to be a Jewish person, like her mother-in-law. Did you see that one?
No, what happened?
She's just on some talk show, and she's going like pretend like holding her hands up to her face, and she goes, "This was my first time meeting my mother-in-law, future mother-in-law," and she's like, "Look at you! You look so much prettier on TV. You look prettier in person." And you could tell while she's doing it, she's enjoying herself and looking at the crowd, gauging their reaction, and they're all laughing at her and said, "Thank you so much for coming over. We're gonna," and I'm like, this is her in her element. This is her enjoying her time, and a lot of people they don't acknowledge that 60 to 70% of politics is how you present yourself and entertaining and distracting the masses. And that means you get some people who are entertaining. They do have a little bit of theater kid inside of themselves. And when she's doing this, I'm like, man, she shouldn't be in politics. She should be relaxing on a daytime show on The View.
Dude,
At the same thing as Joe Biden.
I kind of had the same thought about Trump, because I saw this other clip where Trump was like on Wendy Williams' show, like talking about,
this
why hasn't your boyfriend proposed yet? Is he like not doing his job as a man or something? And he's in his element as well. He loves doing the daytime TV stuff. So I'm like, dude, what if Kamala and Trump just did like a View-esque show? Like The View with Trump and Kamala. That would be fucking sick.
That would be good. What is it? I did see that clip too. And first off, that lady was dating that guy for 12 years.
Trump and Kamala bring on Ted Cruz and they just dunk on Cruz for the entire time. I would love that.
I'd rather just talk to normal people and give relationship advice. That would be great, because that woman that Trump was talking to on that clip was dating her boyfriend for 12 years and was saying he was getting jealous with her going to work. And Trump was like, why are you not engaged yet? Are you kidding me? He's like, 12 years, huh? So no, yeah. And he looked like he was having so much fun. So it just shows how maybe politics kind of sucks the soul out of you. Okay. But it did remind it that was a long intro. I really just wanted to talk about that commenter, because I do like to revisit those from time to time, because there are some funny ones that we get. But speaking of sucking, right? Okay. You have a subject related to that you've been dangling in front of me, and it has to do with it pains me to say this because it sounds so mainstream. It has to do with a meme that's been going around, and it's about the I can't believe I'm saying this either. It's pretty painful. The Hawk Tuah girl I've actually never said that out loud. So you have an angle here, and I'm interested to see what it is because I have a thought on everything, but I have a thought on this subject as well. So
I never expected this, but I went in really, really fucking deep on this, and I had one angle, but then I came out with 3 different angles and like a whole like psychological assessment because of these angles. And for those of you who don't know what the Hawk Tuah thing is, so basically this guy, he does like these on the street interviews for these drunk girls, and he asks this girl, how do you keep a man happy? And then her answer was, you gotta Hawk Tuah and then spit on that thing like spit on a penis when you're sucking it or something. Like that's her fucking answer. And then for some reason, this answer, which I've seen a million times before, it's not particularly engaging or fucking special. This answer became fucking viral, and it swept up the entire nation. Like everyone was fucking talking about it, saying, "Oh, this is Americana. People, Americana's back." No, they are actually saying that.
Okay,
and then
okay.
it went viral. Like all the fucking people sharing these memes, and I'm like, I need to dive deep into it. So that's why I did. And my initial reaction,
real quick, before you go any further, I think it got popular. I think because I don't think the clip is stupid. I think it's somewhat funny. I don't think it's hilarious. I don't think it's knee slapping. But when she goes, spit on that thing, it sounds funny. She sounds cute. She looks cute. She sounds funny. There's nothing wrong with that.
But it doesn't warrant like an entire like nationwide fucking friend. Yeah.
Sure.
But
go ahead.
My initial reaction, after seeing that clip is, I hate normal people because she's emblematic of the average person. Vulgar, likes talking about fucking genitals, dumb celebrity gossip. At its core, I kind of hate that because it's not fucking funny, and I hate that other people find it funny. It's like, I'm sorry, but it's just not. And then I realized, hold on, I also do all those things also and thoroughly enjoy them. I also talk about
spitting genitals on that thing.
I also talk about genitals. I laugh at celebrity gossip like pretty much every other fucking episode. And I'm pretty vulgar as well. So, you know what? If people can put up with my things that I find funny, but they don't, I can do the same. And, like, I've heard some people say, like, oh, this is like the downfall of society. She's talking about, like, sucking dick in fucking public, and it's, like, disgusting. And it's like, dude, if I'm being real, the concept of, like, 2 guys having sex is like the fucking funniest thing in the world to me, and I would say that on a like a fucking Mike on the Street kind of show. And it's like, if people can find
I
like,
love how that's where your mind went, by the way. But keep going.
No. But it's like, if people can find like the Hawk Tuah thing funny, it's like, well, I find 2 guys fucking having sex like really fucking funny. So we're on an even playing field there, and I thought a bit deeper, and I realized this girl, this meme kind of illustrates how the far left and far right are kind of the same. Oh, no. Both of them are obsessed with their own version of some obscure academic lifestyle. And the leftist freaks want to center everything in their life around intersectionality and economic equity, right? And the right freaks want to center themselves around this puritanical new age of Christ, where any type of sexuality is bad or any type of vulgarity isn't allowed. Both aren't normal, and both just can't let you just chill and vibe and just be a normal person. Do you get what I'm saying?
Are you saying that's what she's doing? Where does she fall into those two? She
represents
if you're a spectrum.
She represents like the core, like average person. And then you have freaks on the left and freaks on the right. They can't let someone just be like that. They have to pull them in different directions. Like the left, they look at that and say, "Oh, she's disgusting because she represents like the economic inequity of like between races and all that." And the right, they say she's disgusting because she's just like vulgar and it's like sex is just bad and all that. It's like, dude, both these sides are just fucking freaks, dude. Like, you're losers.
I think what you're describing is a cultural Rorschach test where people see what they want to see out of events like that. And just from like the sexual exhibitionism side, people really don't want to come to terms with the fact that humans have been having sex since for as long as they can remember, right? And our culture actually used to be more sexually open than it was. I mean, you think about medieval times or maybe Roman times, people were little freak shows. There was even incest thrown into the mix, and then we had a puritanical, austere period. And I'm not saying I think we should be more sexually
Napoleon,
open.
the conqueror of France, loved a stanky pussy. Like that was well known. He fucking told this girl, like, I'm coming home in 5 days. Don't wash your thing. Like,
and not only that, a lot of those street interview videos, which are usually scripted, I don't think this one was, talk about how many men, different men, a woman wants to sleep with. To me, popularizing a clip where a woman's describing how she keeps her one single man happy. And you know what? The people are saying, like, oh, this is the downfall. This is terrible. They want to be in a loving relationship where a girl does something like that to them. They do. Yep. What are they going to say? No, don't spit on that thing. Actually, we're going to have straight missionary sex because I'm an anonymous guy on Twitter that thinks that all women should be. They don't do that. They're desperate for someone to spit on that thing. So that's why it's not that bad.
Or from the lefter side, you're telling me like those people freaking out about her like representing inequality. You telling me they wouldn't want to be in her position where she's like easygoing and life is good? Of course they would. You're fucking lying if you're not, you know?
Yeah. You know what? This isn't my main point, but the thing that bothered me the most about that is people can't just let maybe it has to do with the airplane girl, or it started far before that. People can't just let these be they can't let them be like lone internet viral moments. They have to grab it and absorb all the mystique out of it that they possibly. We have to know her name. We have to know where she lives. We have to know if she's really in a relationship. We have to get her on a podcast to monetize her. We have to have her see, like, why can't you just let it the moment be and enjoy it?
That's a really, really good point. That brings up my second point as well. Mm-hmm. I despise how these days everything is capitalized on so fucking quickly. Nothing feels fucking real anymore. Like a day after the meme came out, I saw like these Hawk Tuah t-shirts. Like, what? Are you fucking retarded? Like every organic trend is like artificially boosted and has all of its capital extracted from it until it's a fucking husk of its former self. It's like that's disgusting. I don't want to live in a world like that. And you know, the perfect example of this isn't actually the Hawk Tuah girl. It's the fucking Mark Zuckerberg memes I've been seeing recently. So for those of you who don't know, recently Mark Zuckerberg has been regaining an ounce of popularity. If you go back 10 years, he's seen as like this pariah, this fucking robot, this like autistic, like sociopath and all that.
His wife got hot too.
Yeah, then I think like last year, and this picture came out where both of them were looking good. He was looking fit. His wife was looking hot.
Yeah, the MMA thing. Yeah. She looked great.
And then he regained an ounce of popularity by doing some podcasts, like saying, yeah, this is what Facebook is doing, all that. Vulture saw that he was regaining that, and they chose to boost it. And now I have to see everyone and their mom fawning over some dumb fucking video about Zuckerberg drinking a beer while riding a jet ski, showing how much cooler he is than Elon Musk. And also, did you know you can buy this base Zuckerberg shirt for just $15.99? It's like, just fuck off, dude. Just fuck off, you know?
But for the record, I do think he is cooler, smarter, and more successful than Elon Musk will ever be.
No, that's fine. But like,
yeah, but that's what they have
to do. Do they have to capitalize on the whole thing? It just sucks the soul out of everything, dude. It's just disgusting, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, because going back to the Hawk Tuah girl, I like not knowing her name. I like only knowing her in that instance that she's showing us from that street interview. It's the same thing as the lightsaber kid. I honestly think internet memetics go back to that kid, because he was probably one of the first viral sensations on there, where it's just the fat kid in his. Maybe he's not a loser. Maybe he's married. Maybe when he made that video, he just got done hanging out with some friends. But in that moment, he's a kid in his basement making a fake lightsaber. Darth Maul, practicing his prana bindu or something. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the lightsaber form he was using. Not like I would know for certain. I don't want to say too much there, but With the Hawk Tuah girl, it's just some Southern belle, okay, with an accent that's talking about spitting on that thing, and it's funny in the moment, but for some reason people want to. I don't even want to use the term dissect it because that shows a degree of sentience. They're rabid, you know what I mean? They're just vampires. They want to, like you said, extract everything they can out of these. Just
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's funny because I personally don't find it funny, but. It's okay to let other people find things funny.
Do you find it cute? Do you think she looks cute when she does it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe there's a little bit something for everyone there. And this person, she has no choice but to go with it. I don't blame her for going on the podcast and following up on it because you wake up. No one knows what they would do waking up the next day and being nationally bordering on world famous. You don't know what you would do in that situation. And I think she's handling it all right. But my issue with all of it comes from two different places. The first one is kind of what you're talking about, people's sensibilities being offended by this video. You know, oh, this is disgusting. I can't believe this girl is talking like that. Coming from the same account that probably is like adjacent to other manosphere people that talk about doing much worse things to women and like using and abusing them, whatever. That's a nebulous point. But the other one is more about stolen valor with people who hate it. I saw a lot of people, and this is a tough point, so try and follow me down the rabbit hole for a second here. But I saw, and maybe it's deeply personal to me, I saw a lot of people on other platforms on Twitter saying, why do normies think this is funny? This isn't funny at all. Like, you know, I don't understand why people like this. First off, the internet used to be the Hawk Tuah girl. That's what internet memetics used to be. It used to be there was something funny on the internet. There were all these, you were either in the way mainstream of the internet or you were in these deep pockets where things that were popular on these message boards never saw the light of day, ever. So it was either extremely popular or something you would never see because you're on the samus.co.uk Metroid Prime speedrunning forums, okay? Those were the two parts of the internet. And through the corporatization of it and the centralization of it, now you have different layers. You have like your 4chan or you have your Twitter, okay, which you know, less social people might use as compared to Facebook or Instagram. So there's varying levels of it. Hawk Tuah girl is something that encompassed all of them, okay? Akin to the lightsaber kid or those two kids dancing to Crazy Frog, which I still think is hilarious to this day. And for some reason, that bothers people on the lower echelon of the internet. I'm sorry, but that's what the internet was. It used to be everyone was equal in the sense where they dialed up and they all found the same things funny. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when someone's on Twitter complaining about normies finding something funny, you don't fucking know what a normie. You're on Twitter. You're not on the dregs of the internet. You don't know what it's like to get groomed in a Jedi Academy server when you're 12 years old because you're on a free-for-all modded server that you can invite people to duels. You don't know what it's like to be on a special message. You don't know what any of this is, okay? Until you're traveling through those dimensions of the old internet, you're already on Twitter, okay? You can't talk about being some alternative like deep internet dweller when you're a 10,000 plus follower account on Twitter talking about people being normies and you know rejects and incels. I feel like you can agree. I think it's fucking annoying when people talk about normies.
I feel like it's I kind of half agree with them that, you know, it is annoying that people find it funny because, again, I personally don't find it funny and I hate that people find it funny. It's like, but then the crux comes at the point where I realize I find stuff to be extremely funny and that normal people don't find it funny at all, you know. So it's like there's this bit of like self-realization where it's like, okay, you know what, if they can let me have a laugh about these things that I laugh about, I can let them laugh about the Hawk Tuah girl. It's fine. It's a fair trade, you know.
Yeah, well, speak about it. Think about it this way, and I think you're making a decent point. It's so these accounts or these people who think it's not funny what the Hawk Tuah girls doing. It's so stupid. So what is this hilarious thing that you're bringing to the table that we're all gonna love? You're the arbiter of what's funny, right? Since you think this is stupid, or you think it's sexually gross, or there's something wrong with it. What's this safe, family-primed, super funny thing that you all want to show us, because you're redirecting our attention. You're saying it's stupid. You're being a critic, right? You're being critical of something that other people are finding funny. It's just like, no, wait, that's not funny. And then what are you going to do? Ride around on a unicycle and juggle? I don't get it. I hate, and this transfers to real life as well. If you've ever been in a group of people where 5 or 6 people where you're talking a lot, maybe you're the one who's trying to drive the conversation because other people aren't as talkative, which happens to me a lot in life, and sometimes it's a burden, sometimes it makes things more fun. But you're in a group of people, and sometimes you're driving conversation, and that leads to you maybe saying something embarrassing because you're talking a lot. That's naturally sometimes where it goes, because you're trying to keep people entertained, and sometimes that means embarrassing yourself a little. There's always someone in that group who waits till everyone's done talking, till everyone's expressed themselves, and then they make a deprecating statement. They make a derogatory statement. They say like, oh, well, that's stupid, or like, haha, why would you do that? And that's their only contribution. That's what people who hate, quote unquote, the Hawk Tuah meme remind me of. Those are the kind of people that are online too, and say things like that. It's just like, well, what are you? You're reducing yourself to just being a critic. You're not creating more value. You're not entertaining anyone. You're just calling something stupid. That's so boring. You're boring. What have you made? What have you done? And I'm not saying that the Hawk Tuah girl is accomplished. I'm just saying the best you could do is go online and anonymously tell people not to find something funny, and then it bothers you that that's it. That's like, who you are as a person.
The way that I see it, I see it, right? It's like the leftist freaks complaining about the Hawk Tuah girl. They're probably laughing about some like communist meme where they label people as pigs. The right
that's
freaks,
like 3 paragraphs long.
The people, that's 3 paragraphs long. The people on the right freaks that hate the Hawk Tuah girl, they're probably like laughing at racist memes. And then you got the normies like just laughing at the Hawk Tuah girl. There doesn't have to be a conflict. Just laugh at your own shit. It doesn't matter. Like why are you guys so gung ho to get into a fight? Like it just doesn't make any sense at all. You know?
Yeah. No, I agree. And hey, I mean, it's not often you see something that popular happen. But the problem is. The problem is, again, with what we were talking about, people take these things too far on the you just have to not pay attention to the Facebook end of the spectrum when popular memes get there. I saw one that kind of bled down to Twitter, and it was making fun of, what people post on Facebook. And it's like, it was a I don't even want to say it out loud. It's paining. My brain is in pain for forcing my mouth to say these words. But it was a combination of the Hawk Tuah girl meme and the girl who saw that motherfucker is not real on the plane girl. It was a combination of those 2 memes. And it was like the girl pointing in the plane, and she's going, that motherfucker needs to spit on that thing. And it's like, oh my gosh. At a certain point, it feels like a boomer internet relic or something someday. But it's just like, you got, like, when like a 40-something plus year old gets their hands on it, and puts something together, that's what they come up with in the lab. And that's like, what's the funniest thing ever to them? Hey, you know what? Honestly, it's good-hearted. I guess it makes me laugh. But I saw that, and I'm like, wow, guys, this is not good. You did not need to do that. It's just like, oh, my goodness. So, actually, this kind of plays in nicely to something that I wanted to talk to you about, because you brought up, or I brought up, maybe we both did, just anonymous people online. And I wanted to bring up a financial subject that's closely related to them, and I might need you to hold my hand through this. This is like me bringing you a homework assignment and you grading it, because for those of you who don't know, we used to have a different lifetime here on this podcast where we talked about cryptocurrency
it was a different age. Yeah.
It was a different age, and it was back when cryptocurrency was fun. It's lost a lot of its luster for me. Not even in a entertainment sense, but also in a financial sense. It's a lot harder to make money in it than it used to be. I mean, I guess it's cyclical, right? But I can't help but notice, okay? And maybe for those of you that have been with us for a long time, this is a bit of a throwback. But with the recent, and I'm not saying this is permanent, but it to me, recently I've been able to observe that performance of public equity, maybe we'll just say stocks, has been outperforming, or let's say traditional public equity has been outperforming cryptocurrency. Okay. With something you have like Nvidia over the last year, even Apple, there's been a lot of great opportunities to capitalize on just flourishing tech stocks and, the way the industry is going, maybe leading up to the election, where cryptocurrency's kind of, I don't want to say been left in the dust, but it's been halted for some time, at least performance wise. And there's a few observations that I've kind of made about it.
Uh-huh.
I think that it's been really normal, and I think this has to do with the ETF really that came in. I think cryptocurrency trading has been so normalized that life-changing swings, at least in top 10 to top 20 coins, obviously including Bitcoin, aren't going to give you or be worth the effort that it used to the risk that it used to be previously. So right now, Bitcoin's probably around $50,000 something dollars. What risk are you putting in thinking that this is going to get to 100 grand? And is it going to get much higher than that? I really don't see that in its future. Part of me doesn't even see it getting to 100 grand, let alone 200. So that's an upside of not even a 2x on Bitcoin alone, the leader within that space, before you even get to Ethereum, which has been underperforming. So I think that the volume or the amount of people that are involved with cryptocurrency now is kind of negated all the swings. There's too much going on there now to kind of justify large price swings. There's too many hands in it. There's too much volume. So it's not the same as what it used to be. And on top of that, right? So I'm not saying that it's coming to a conclusion. I'm saying that it's been fully integrated into traditional finance. So you're seeing kind of...
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah.
Even with the ETFs?
I think what you're seeing, right, is you're seeing the effects of cycles, but from a different angle. The way that I perceive it, right, is that, and I've said this before multiple times, like a long time ago on the show, as more cycles happen, the magnitude of each cycle is going to decrease just because of diminishing returns. If you pull up the logarithmic chart of Bitcoin and go from like the point of its inception till now, it looks like a flattening curve, and it's like, well, okay, sure, another cycle might happen, but the range that new cycle can peak out above that curve is going to be smaller and smaller. So every single cycle is going to have diminishing returns. And I think that's just what we've seen. So if you remember 2017, you could buy literally fucking anything and it would 10x. 2021, it was tough, but you had, the major coins like Solana, Luna, AVAX.
Even Chainlink made a run then.
Chainlink was pretty good,
Yeah.
But some got left behind in the dust. Dude, this cycle, fucking everything except Bitcoin and fucking like $200,000 market cap shit coins got left in the dust. Like it's just Bitcoin and fucking like the most obscure fucking piece of shit like meme coins, And I think what you're seeing is you're seeing the facade slowly drop between each cycle. 2017, everything went up, so you could keep the facade of utility up reasonably well. It's like, well, yeah, everything's going up because it's going to get adopted. And then 2021 happened where some went up, but not everything. And then people still claimed on to the claim of utility. It's like, yeah, some projects, they actually are life-changing, like Solana. This cycle, I think people realize, holy shit, there's barely any sauce left. And the only way to make money is to scam off fucking shitcoins. And the veil has been completely dropped. Like, nobody believes these fucking utility coins are going to do anything anymore. Like, no
Cardano.
one... like, go back to 2021. People would actually unironically believe that Phantom would do something. I think no one believes that anymore this year.
Not me. Never me, right? No. No, but at the same time, back then, I knew there was no true utility, and they were all just their own, like, separate Ponzi islands. But
True,
there was
people were
enough
willing
there
to
make
go
it
along
work.
with it. People were willing to go along with it, but no one is today. Like,
nope.
Like, if you go on Twitter, you will be hard pressed to find anyone make a fucking earnest case for Phantom these days. Like, it just doesn't exist, And that's why you see all these fucking celebrities on crypto Twitter relegate themselves to fucking getting these celebrities in to pump their celebrity shit coins and then just scamming after that. It's like, I mean, at its core, this is what the space has been all about, but the veil has just been dropped to the point where it's just naked for everyone to see,
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I don't think that fully disagrees with a lot of what I'm saying. I think it's just the conclusion. We're kind of reaching similar conclusions, but your reasoning is a lot more sound than mine, and you're able to describe it a lot better. Because it is funny. It's either you're up there with Bitcoin, and I mean Ethereum's been underperforming, or you're down there slinging crack rocks on Solana meme coins. Like literal crack rocks. So I think people are starting to understand the risk value that's truly behind a lot of cryptocurrency. Is you're taking a little risk and your upside is getting a bit of value by storing it in Bitcoin, or you take tons of risk and there's a chance for it is if you were to look at the percentages, it's probably the equivalent of a casino slinging those Solana shit coins. So that seems to be the two directions that it's going. And honestly, it's the most, I'm about to say the word twice. Sorry for being redundant. It's the most honest way you could look at cryptocurrency, I think, and its use. It really is.
It's a long time coming, honestly.
It's not pretending anymore.
Yeah.
So,
but it does make everything just seem like just fucking depressing and just kind of disgusting. It's like, that might be what crypto was at its core, but I really enjoyed those days where people kept up this veil of delusion. It was fun getting like an earnest show like as to why Phantom was actually going to change the world somehow. Back then I enjoyed that. It was cool. It's like, oh, maybe Phantom does have some sauce. Well, I enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah, well, also there was optimism and opportunity too. I would sit around and think, if I could just get 3x off this, maybe I can get out of here and move into there. Now it's like I'm not looking at cryptocurrency as my way to make more money anymore. I'm just not. So, and that's a shame. I used to have an outlet where, I felt like I had my finger on the pulse and was able to kind of make moves that I thought that made sense within the industry and maybe see things that other people couldn't. And now that's kind of gone for me because it just doesn't offer the same value as it used to. And
I think I will be proven right though that this is going to be the last cycle for a long, long fucking time. Once this cycle tops out, it's going to be bear mode for 5, maybe 7 years at least.
This could be a cosmic "I told you so" by you. And if there is a crash in January to May of last year or next year, I want to dig up the clip of you talking on a previous iteration of this show a year and a half to 2 years ago. It honestly was in the first 10 episodes of that project we were working on, where you said that this is gonna, I don't want to say be the end of cryptocurrency, but there's going to be a huge run up and a nuclear destruction of crypto as it tries to integrate into the broader market. So I remember you saying that, and I thought it was a good point, and that's kind of where we're at now. But amazingly, that wasn't my main point. My main point has to do with people, okay? So you used to see the same characters, and I'm going to try and articulate this the best I can because it gets a little messy. You used to see the same characters in 2021. I won't name names, but there's a lot of obvious anonymous accounts. Maybe then they had, what's the monkey one? Punk Monkeys or something? I don't know what the
CryptoPunks, right?
Yeah, but wasn't there the Bored Apes,
Yeah, Bored Apes.
You'd see people with Bored Apes avatar. You'd see people who would, who somehow got wealthy early on, or they were day trading, they were leverage trading, and their entire identity is trading on leverage, being anonymous, supposedly having tons of money. So now the new version of that are, people with maybe Remilio profile pictures or who knows, whatever of the sort. I cannot stress to you enough, after meeting a lot of people in the space in person at an event, how big of losers these people are socially. Okay, that's before we even get to the fact that they might not even be wealthy. So these people are insufferable. And when I go on Twitter and I see them saying the same things all the time, I get so annoyed. It's always some combination of do a bunch of drugs, trade on leverage. We have the normies exactly where they want them, right here when Bitcoin just, fell $12,000, jump back in at this point. You have no idea what's coming. They have no idea what's coming. And I'm not even talking about Chainlink people because they're just demented. They just live in a separate reality. I just talk about kind of the main who are supposedly like social arbiters of the crypto space, or the gen side of the crypto space, still there pretending as if it's 2021 or 2017. It's not anymore. And they're still talking as if it is. These people's livelihoods, whether it be socially or financially, depend on you, okay, engaging with their platforms and either trading the way they do or being interested in crypto the same way they are. And honestly, I have to say, they were influential not only on me, but a lot of people at the time, where I was walking into a lot of money, and they would convince you that crypto was the next big thing and to stay with it. And luckily I got out when things were on the downswing, most of what I was holding at the time. But if I kept listening to them, I would have lost everything. I would have to trade more on leverage. Oh, it'll be going back up. And I'm like, wait, hold on a second here. That was a lot of money. I wasn't expecting to gain multiple decimals of money starting with 4 figures. I wasn't expecting that. And then for some reason you think it'll just keep going, and they convince you of that. Right now they're still doing the same thing, and there's a lot less money at play, and people are still taken advantage over this concept because their whole online fantasy of what their character is this person who's just a coke snorting degenerate who's always sitting there drinking and trading on leverage, and haha, isn't that so funny? That's not funny. You're a loser. You're going to lose all your money eventually doing that. And you already kind of know what you're doing. Think about the people who don't know what they're doing, who idolize you. They're falling for the same trap. They're not making their lives better. When crypto's over and done with, even if you make tons of money, if you don't have a career, or if you didn't make, let's just say, seven plus figures, there's no lifetime of tranquility for you. You're stuck again. So it really bothers me that their survival instincts kind of depend on cryptocurrency behaving as if it were 2021 and 2017. It just doesn't anymore. And I'm sick of seeing it on my timeline. So whenever I see people talking about crypto in that same way, I say, you know what? You kind of haven't moved on with your life, or you're still trying to convince people of reality that isn't there. And it just bothers me. It just bothers me because it's really easy to spot a crypto, LinkedIn type person.
That's why I get so upset when I listen to Chainlink people. Like, to this day, it's like, dude, do you see the world around you? It's over. Like, what are you doing? I keep seeing these people saying like, oh, yeah, laugh it up now, but then when the singularity pump happens to $1,000, you're gonna be eating your shorts. And I'm like, dude, I feel sorry for you. I want to help you in some way, because you're just gonna lose your fucking mind and probably your fucking mortgage over this. It's like, man.
And they got listen, this is akin to kicking toddlers, okay? So that's why I kind of left the Chainlink people out of it, because that's too easy. They probably got in when it was over $5 or $10, and it went up to 50 and they didn't sell. Dude, I was in there when it was 40 cents. I was talking to my good buddy, the one we play League with, the other day. He loaded up when it was on 15 cents, and he barely even pays attention to what's going on. And we're telling you, why are you telling us these things? Okay. And listen, I'm not trying to fly off the handle. I'm going to contain myself a little bit here. Why are you telling people that were in there when it was below $1 what it's going to do after, what is it at now? Like $14, $15. I don't know. You got in like 2 years after us. Okay. And you've made it your whole personality liking it. And again, they're not even them financially, their personalities and their livelihoods and the optimism for their own future depends on this token. You can apply that to a lot of different things across cryptocurrency. So their expressions are already tainted from the start. They're already impure, okay? They already have an obsession and a need for something in this space, and that's why you shouldn't listen to them. And it really does. With Chainlink's a reductive version of that. It's like the simplest, like purest form of what I'm describing. So it's just, I don't know.
Something interesting. A good point that you brought up. I think a few episodes ago. Some coins, they just have their time in the sun, and then after that, that's it. Like I remember EOS. It went from like $1 to fucking like 11. It went from $1 to $11, and then it's done. It's donezo after that. And it's like, the market doesn't have like fucking infinite resources. Like sometimes things pump, and then that's their time. That's their 15 minutes of fame, and that's it. Like, do you guys honestly think fucking Link is just gonna be like such a groundbreaking project that it's gonna have the fucking singularity pump that you keep talking about? Like, or is Occam's Razor more likely where, it's a good project that was undervalued, and during the bull market it went to value, and then it just dumped like everything else? Like, what's more likely here? Like, come on.
Yeah, the concept of Chainlink, and again, this is someone who met Sergey in person and bought under $1. Okay, I've seen a thing or two out there. The concept of it was really cool at the time. It was when people were kind of excited about what cryptocurrency had to offer banks. It turns out at the end of the day, banks don't want to pay money to validate their own information.
It turns out, funny enough, the oldest FUD is actually real. Like, if you remember, the first ever FUD for Chainlink was, why would banks use this when they can make their own blockchain? That was the first ever FUD. They never got over that. That turned out to be the killer FUD, because as we've seen now, banks are using some like blockchain technology, but they're gonna build their own fucking chain. They're not gonna outsource it to some company in the Seychelles. Like, what?
Yeah.
How did we ever let that get past us? What the fuck?
Also, the improved version, the more succinct version of that, token not needed too. That's completely true. It's not most of the company. The token is a funding mechanism for the company, so it is needed to fund Chainlink, which give their services for free to other people. It's a great business model. That's all I'll say. So, but no, thanks for going down memory lane with me. It is funny for 1 second. There's a joke where a bunch of guys will hang out. Like it's like a where let's say you're like in a group of 4 or 5 guys, and they'll just hang out for an hour, drink, and just name random running backs in the NFL and laugh, because that is what it's kind of like to hang out with normal guys in the US. You can do the same thing with cryptocurrency and us, where it's like, remember EOS? You just like laugh about that.
Just the three letter word. It's just like, remember KHV?
Yeah, we could literally hang out and just go like Neo, Tomb, and just start laughing. What's a Tron? That's so funny. Thanks for sticking along with that one, guys. I actually do like. I guess maybe it's more dunking, but I do like talking about cryptocurrency from time to time, because it was a fun part of my life, and it's technically how Tyson and I met each other, which is hilarious. But all right, we're moving on to that. On from that to something a little bit more serious.
A lot more serious.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull the mood down, get a little somber. So we're putting this on the tail end, so we don't. So okay, we put a little spacing out here. This is a somber conclusion to the episode. So I see something Tyson said, and it's called "My Sexual Assault." I promise I'm not laughing at it.
No, it's fine. You can laugh. I laughed at it as well.
Okay, what is your sexual assault?
So,
meanwhile, I was actually raped in real life, but go ahead.
So, after this experience, which happened to me a few days ago, in a dream, I finally sort of understand. I I used to always look at rappers and all these artists and think, dude, these guys are so stupid for blowing all their money and getting into drugs and being alcoholics and being drug addicts and just like being like permanently hooked on lean and all that stuff. But after this dream, I get it, man. So I'm gonna set the scene for this dream that I had recently. In this dream, I was myself, but I was an aspiring rapper, right? And I was doing the whole like grinding on my SoundCloud, putting out raps and all that. And miraculously, I get signed for a record deal by Sony Records one day. I remember it clear as day. Some guy across the street. I was like living in this ghetto where like people were like just trash talking each other, and I was opening my mail, and this guy, my next door neighbor, was like trash talking, like pussy ass bitch, and all that shit. And then I was like, yeah, laugh it up, bitch, and all that. Opening my letter, and then I see this letter from Sony Records, like, hello, Tyson, we'd like to offer you a record deal for $650,000. And then in that moment, I'm like, holy shit, this is it. This is my fucking moment. I felt on top of the world. I felt like I was gonna be the next Drake or next fucking rapper. Like he's up next. You know, I thought that was me.
Like the Asian guy that I've been posting. Wait, pussy, switch the pussy. Yeah. That's you.
And I of course sent back a response like, oh, I would absolutely love to sign to this record deal. And shortly after, I think a few days go by, and this limo pops up outside my house, and they were like, get dressed, we're going somewhere. And they explained that they were from Sony Records. So I thought, oh damn, okay, these guys are quick. They want to see my stuff. They want to see my songs like right now. I'm gonna go get changed. I get changed, I hop in the limo, and there's like two other guys in the limo with me that I knew for a fact that they were brought in, and they also didn't know what they were there for. So I thought, oh, maybe these are like other like signers for the label that they also got picked up for some reason. I thought they want to see my songs, but I guess they want to see everyone's songs that they just recently signed. They bring all of us to this. They bring this limo. They bring all of us to this fucking bathhouse, right? And they say, okay, take off your clothes and put on the bathhouse attire, which is just like a like one of those like robes, right?
Sure.
And we're like, oh, okay, I guess they're gonna. I was still coping in my mind, like, oh, okay, they're treating us to something cool,
building camaraderie, you know?
Yeah. I get changed, and I walk into this like steamy locker room, and I see a locker room full of guys, and these are people that you know in the industry. So off the top of my head, I saw Joe Rogan, I saw Stephen Colbert, Dana White, I saw some politicians, I saw some, what's that, you know, that country singer Luke Bryan or whatever. I saw him.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. How's it
So
going, Tyson?
So, and for some reason, Joe Rogan was the head of the whole thing. He was giving orders to everyone. He sees me and these two other
goons.
he sees me and these two other guys walk in, right? And he's like, "You guys are the new guys?" And then we're like, "Yeah." He orders us to sit down, and then I don't know what. And then after that, he unrobes and he's fully naked, and he points to the guy sitting next to me, the new guy as well, and he's like, "You get on the floor and start sucking me off right now." And I I don't know what happens, but I almost thought it was a joke, but the way that he phrased it, it was such a fucking commanding way, and there were these fucking goons standing around us, like ready to fucking bust us up if we didn't listen to him. So
bust you up, all right.
So the guy next to me gets on his knees and starts sucking Joe Rogan's dick. Okay, and when he was done, he pointed at me and was like, "Okay, now you're gonna do the same thing." And I kept thinking, no, this has to be like a prank or something.
Even though the other guy had already done it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, this can't be real. This has to be like a fucking prank or something. Like, there's no way this is real. And I'm like, no, I'm not really into that. Sorry, Joe. And
sorry, Joe.
Yeah, and then
we did it, Joe.
He signals. He gives a look to these two like security guards where they just grab me and force me on the floor. And he looks at me and he's like, "You said yes to that record deal. This is what you have to do to earn it, right? And if you tell anyone about what's happening here, you know what's gonna happen to you. And he forced me to suck his dick, and in the dream I did, and it was honestly the most fucking disgusting experience I've ever experienced in my entire life, dude.
Were you good at it? Did you spit
No,
on that thing?
it was disgusting. It was fucking repulsive, dude. It and and afterwards I remember like a lot of things happened afterwards. I remember like being dropped off back at my house, and my immediate thought was, I feel fucking dirty. So I had a shower for like what felt like hours, and then after that, I still felt dirty. So I needed to get drunk immediately to fucking forget that happened. And then at that point, I woke up, and dude, I felt so fucking repulsed when I woke up, and that was when I realized, you know, if what we assert to be true about the Illuminati, like all these like pedophile parties and these like intimidation parties where they force people to have sex with them. Yeah, if I was a rapper, why wouldn't I want to be fucking leaned out of my entire fucking mind?
Oh, wow.
The entire time. I understand it now. Like, yeah, if I became a famous rapper, but I had to fucking suck Joe Rogan's dick to do that, I wouldn't want to be in my head at all, ever. You know,
that's true. You'd always be running from it, right? So
yeah. So that's my dream. What's your thoughts?
First off, I'm going to completely sidestep the Jungian Freudian implications of the fame-chasing, racially conscious, sexually forced homoeroticism of your dream. So I'm gonna do you a huge favor and let all of that go, because that's just ridiculous. But what I will say is that when things like that happen to you in dream, for instance, we talked about this on another channel that we have that we need to get moving on again, is when I was drained by a succubus in my dream, I felt violated. I felt clearly violated when I woke up in a way that I never thought I could from a dream. So I understand your disgust on being forced to suck a dick in your dream. Also, it kind of reminds me, wasn't like an old co-host on this podcast into some Roman towel anime that was implicitly gay? You remember that? He was into that. And first off, you dream very thematically, and you have good stories to your dreams. I think you're missing your calling as a script writer of some kind, because you posted one about some kind of like trust fund demon kid or something that was a really good read. But just talking about the point of your dream and what you were able to get out of it, I think that's super interesting, and you do make a good point, because this is one of my biggest issues, and this ties into just people and their opinions online, kind of what we were talking about with the Hawk Tuah girl, is people love to say, and I have a friend that actually was semi-famous, like, toured with the Smashing Pumpkins, etc., toured with Marilyn Manson, really good dude. People love to say that when I'm famous someday, if I were to be famous someday, I would just chill. I would just be wealthy. I would just give my family. You have no idea how sick in the fucking head and motivated to sacrifice you have to be to get to those positions in life. And the younger you start, the more advantage is taken of you early on.
Exactly.
And it goes and goes and goes. We say, why did they develop a drug problem? I would just, of course you wonder these things. Of course you think these things. You aren't an exceptional person. You're a boring person working an office job. And it's so funny because you have fantasies about being famous and being just as boring as you are now. That's why you are famous. That's why you are talented. That's why it's special. To reach that level of talent, you have to make sacrifice. You have to be a little messed up in the head. You have to ruin relationships with the people closest to you. You have to do things that you otherwise wouldn't do. And in your instance, what you're talking about, the casting couch isn't some fictional Illuminati,
it's fucking real.
It's the realest it is.
It's
as real as you and me.
The thing that I dreamed up has literally word for word happened before. Maybe not with the people that I dreamed up, but some rapper that is forced to suck Diddy's dick to get a record deal. Absolutely, that's happened before, dude. Holy shit.
Lil Wayne had to give it up to Bird Baby at some point, so
And you know what? This brings me to my other point. I never really thought about the act of a blowjob before this dream, but I'm going to seriously consider never asking any future girlfriends or future wife of mine to give me blowjobs after that. That's such a fucking disgusting act that I don't even want to implore that upon someone, even if they're like a woman. I can't do that, dude. It's fucking repulsive.
Would you what if they did it unrequested though?
If they really want to do it, fine. But I can't get that feeling out of my head, dude, where I was just powerless. I couldn't do anything.
Well, the reason why sometimes women like doing it is because it's an act of submission and service to a man that they value. They like doing that to a guy that they believe has reciprocated to them in special ways, and they want to thank them by, you know, engaging in a fellatio of some kind. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But
if they earnestly want to do that, it's fine. But I don't want to ever impose someone to do that outside of their own will. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, if they're a little uneasy doing it. So think about when you take that though and pervert it to make it submissive, not in a reciprocating a relationship sense, but in one of ownership, like what you experienced in your dream. Yeah, it feels disgusting. So you've come a long way since making a trade. You've come a long way. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different themes going on in that dream. Some psychosexual that we don't need to touch on that are obvious, but in other ways, just kind of like reaching the conclusion of that these sacrifices that people have to make, whether sexually or not, leads to them being messed up in the head and trying to forget. You know what I mean? And being addicted to drugs and this and that. I mean, you think about starlets, right? You think about someone like Britney Spears. Imagine the underage, when she was underage, how much dick she had to suck and what she had to do. She was molested? Absolutely. Any woman who's a movie star.
Not only that, but can you imagine if you were a starlet, right? And you were on the verge of a record deal, and, you know, you realized you had to suck some producer's dick to do that, and you're fucking like 15 or something, and you can't say no because your parents, who are the people that got you in the industry in the first place, are encouraging you to do that. That's fucked up, dude. You feel like you have nowhere to turn to at all. Nowhere.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think any child star, teenage star, is encouraged by their parents and guilted. They say, your father and I have sacrificed a lot for you to get to this point. So you're inculcated by your parents and the people around you to keep moving forwards and saying, and if you talk to other people, maybe women who are a little bit older in the industry, they'll say, yeah, I had to do that. Do you want to do it or not? And that's it. And they'll do it and pretend that it's fine. You know, what was it like when Louis C.K. was masturbating in front of, who was it? Was it Sarah Silverman?
These two girls, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was a woman that was kind of granting him clemency on that. I think it might have been Sarah Silverman.
No,
like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta
Louis
feel
C.K.
like
situation is a bit weird because he's kind of a fucking weirdo. Like he like they asked to be in this room and he just asked them like, "Yo, can I just jerk off in front of you? I don't even want to touch you." The real example would be the fucking Harvey Weinstein video where this fucking producer assistant is just like trying to tell him the notes for this upcoming show, and then he's just like fucking groping her, and you know. I get it now.
Stop.
It's fucking It's like, dude, that's
the video.
But I just want to say, you know, like, guys, take it easy on these fucking rappers or stars that you see. It's like,
no, okay. My message is not. Won't someone please think of the world famous rappers? I'm sorry, Tyson. I can't get on board with you on that one.
I'm just saying, like,
why don't you center it towards women who are vulnerable? Okay, they're men. They can make their own decisions in life.
I'm gonna center it around people that make like really stupid decisions, like how could this guy ever get addicted to heroin like a normal guy? It's like, well, you don't know his life story. You know, maybe he went through some really fucked up shit to make him like go on to the point where he wants to do heroin. You don't know that, you know.
Yeah.
I think I've learned to not judge as much, and it's easy. It's so fucking easy for someone to say, yeah, just stop doing heroin. It's like, no, I mean, you didn't have to get fucking forced down in the sauna to suck Joe Rogan's dick, so I don't want to hear you fucking talk, you know?
Sounds like you were visited by an incubus, maybe. I'm not. So, no, the Louis C.K. thing I'm bringing up, not because of him. I don't know how much pull he has in the industry. I'm saying women who are veterans don't make excuses for that kind of behavior. They'll say, yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, or like, yeah, I think it's fine that he did that, and younger women see that advice from veteran women in the industry and say, okay, I guess it's just what I have to do. It's just what I have to go. Men are men, and that's what they're going to do. So yeah, it's a shame that things have gotten to that point. But you know what's funny? It was worse back then. It was worse in the heyday of Hollywood. Are you kidding me?
Can you
remember
imagine?
Shirley Temple was like 10 years old being portrayed as a sexualized adult woman. Dude, she was probably getting bukkakied on her fucking face.
Dude,
on
these
her
fucking
red curls.
freak producers in Hollywood. Can you imagine how free they were running around doing that shit in the 80s, dude? In the 1980s, where there was no internet, there was no where they controlled the media. They were doing that to like fucking probably every other fucking starlet or guy in the industry. It's like, yeah, no wonder actors develop this fucking reputation for being crazy. Like, no wonder, dude. Like, holy shit.
So I'll wrap it up with some finality on that subject, because there's one thing that kind of you honed in on there when you talked about the 80s. I do believe, and I think her name's Heather O'Rourke, the blonde girl on Poltergeist was sexually assaulted to death. Okay. Yep. And she exhibited traits of someone to, post autopsy of someone that may have been defiled in some way and like protracted some sort of disease from that and died. I think she was, okay? And that's just a small example. That's just where things went wrong. I'm sure it was a lot worse than that. It's what these men do. It's what they do in the industry. So anyone's interested in that subject, go look it up. But I always thought that was really, really strange. And also there was a demonic essence just surrounding the entire set. She wasn't the only one to die associated with that production. So that's what happens. I mean, there's dark arts at work, in the world of Hollywood and fame, because they're and I'm not going to say there's magic or some kind of arcane art involved. It's just human depravity and what it brings. Also,
really quick, but my heart goes out especially to the guys that are victims of this, because this is going to sound really harsh.
Not women ever.
No. Women, it's fucked up for them as well. But if you're a girl and you're forced to suck a guy's dick, you can kind of like gaslight yourself by thinking, well, I'm a girl and it's a guy. But if it's a fucking guy and you have to suck another guy's dick, and you're a straight guy but you're forced to do that, that is such a severe blow to your psyche. I don't even want to go there, dude. It's just like, okay, but you get what I'm saying though, right? Like that's such a much more severe blow. You cannot Literally. Gaslight yourself out of that. You cannot gaslight yourself out of like, oh, I just sucked Joe Rogan's dick in a sauna. It's like, if I was a girl, I could gaslight myself like saying, oh, Joe Rogan's kind of hot, I guess. No, not really. But if you're a guy, dude, bruh. It's just there's nothing.
There's something interesting, and maybe it has to do with phallic supremacy, maybe some sort of like sexual hierarchy. But do you think it would be just as traumatizing? So it was traumatizing for you as a supposedly straight man to suck Joe Rogan's dick in your dream, right? You said that, left you feeling bewildered and upset and taken advantage of. Do you think it would be just as traumatizing for a straight girl to say she has like a 38-year-old female record executive, and she says, come into my office, and then she sits on her desk and like spreads her legs and tells her to like eat it out? Like the girl has to be forced to eat it out. Do you think that's just as traumatizing for her?
I feel like this is just my opinion, but I feel like that would be worse than a guy doing that to a girl, right? But I don't know. Okay. I mean, women are like a bit more.
A guy doing it to a guy, a girl doing it to a girl. Or do you think it's the same? I think it's just as traumatizing for them?
I think it's so much worse when a guy does it to a guy that's straight, honestly. But that doesn't mean I'm trying to erase the trauma of girls, because it's fucked up for them as well. I'm just saying, like, as a straight guy, if you have that done to you, dude, your psyche is blown out, dude. Holy shit.
I'm hitting you with incriminating questions, so I respect you for giving straight answers. Well, not... Poor choice of wording, but honest answers. There you go. So we went over a little bit, but I think it was serious. It was a serious subject that we had to tackle. So thank you for sticking around for that last one. So thanks for coming along with us today, guys. And we'll I always forget. I need to say this at the beginning, but I'll say it now. Like and subscribe. I'm not kidding. I think it's because it's just a lame thing to say, but you do have to say it if you want people to keep watching, supposedly. I guess that's Psychologically, that's been proven. But like and subscribe for real.
Yep.
Not even kidding.
Also, if you're listening to us on the Spotify or Apple app, please rate us 5 stars. But yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, we do have people on there, out there. But all right, cool. Until next time, we are the Contrarian Hour.
I gotta leave. I have this appointment with this record producer in a few minutes. So.
Oh, really? Good luck.
Yeah, they're gonna send this limo to pick me up actually, so it's gonna be pretty cool.